In the second part of our trip to the island of Reunion and Mauritius, we continue to explore the island of Reunion. We visit some beautiful waterfalls, see the rugged east coast, and explore more of the dramatic peaks on the island. But first, I head out for sunrise close to the small mountain town of Cilaos, and what a beautiful start to the day it was. Alright, good morning everyone. Just waking up on Christmas Day in Cilaos. Got a random place to spend Christmas Day if I'm honest, but it is really, really stunning. Just the view we've got out of our accommodation is just incredible. The peak behind me is the highest peak on the island, and according to some sources it's the highest peak in the Indian Ocean. Apparently it's a good sort of 4 or 5 hour hike up to the top from where we are at the moment. But yeah, I imagine the views up there are pretty incredible. We're going to make the most of this morning and the weather, and we're going to head to a waterfall, and it's one that I'm really looking forward to going to. It looks pretty spectacular. But yeah, this is a brilliant little place. Very kind of feel like we're the only English speaking tourists, and that's sort of been the theme of this trip. The language barrier has been really quite difficult at times. It's kind of enjoyable in a way. It's kind of nice to go somewhere that is very off the beaten track for, you know, people from the UK anyway. And you know, it kind of makes it feel like an adventure. So yeah, kind of embracing it at the moment. We then made our way to Bassin Alfred Waterfall, and the walk took us about 25 minutes, but it was all downhill, so on the way back it did take us a bit longer. This was a really beautiful spot, and we couldn't wait to dive in to the refreshing pool. We headed back to Cilaos, and as this was Christmas Day, there weren't many food places open, so we sat down for a very festive burger and chips. And we finished the day at some nearby waterfalls. They weren't as spectacular as the ones we've already seen on this trip, but they were very easy to get to, and it was a nice, quick visit. Alright, so we're just getting ready to leave Cilaos and head back down the mountain. It's been a nice couple of days. Photographically speaking, it hasn't been the easiest time here, to be honest, for a few reasons. Firstly, sort of the climate here means that in the mornings at sunrise it's totally clear, no clouds in the sky, which doesn't really add anything to the photos. And then at sunset, the clouds sort of roll in and it snuffs out any form of light. So you, in a way, you're getting the worst of both worlds. And because of where we are located, you have to wait quite a long time at sunrise for the sun to rise above the mountain. And by that time, you know, the golden light had sort of disappeared. So hasn't been easy. You know, just sort of some things to bear in mind if you're thinking of coming here as a photographer. But all in all, this place has been really nice. We made our way back down the mountain, stopping at some nice clifftop views. before then arriving at Grand Anse. This was a really nice beach, certainly worth a visit, and there was a nice grassed area with lots of palm trees, which made for some nice photos. We also came across a nice food place for a spot of lunch. Alright, so we checked into our next accommodation. We're staying on the outskirts of the town of St. Joseph, along the south coast of the island. This morning we went to the beach. It was called Grand Anse, and yeah, really beautiful. We had a bit of a swim, had a spot of lunch, and yeah, just generally a really nice morning. We'll freshen up a bit, and then we're going to go out and explore a couple of waterfalls this afternoon. We then made our way to Cascade de Grand Galet, which is probably one of the most visited tourist sites on the island, and it's clear to see why. It was spectacular. I got up early the next day and went up a beautiful mountain road. Our last full day on the island of Reunion, and yeah, the last few days have gone by quite quickly. We've really enjoyed our time, and so the plan for today is we're going to be heading along the east coast. Basically there's a road that loops round and follows the coastline, so we're going to be doing that. Apparently there's quite a few waterfalls that you can see from the road, so I think it should be quite a spectacular drive. Also, a lot of that area has some of the old lava flow. Obviously it's not active at the moment, but it's kind of where, yeah, the lava sort of spills into the sea, and yeah, there's quite a few sort of interesting areas to explore. So that's the plan for today anyway. But yeah, seeing the waterfall last night was really good. What I would say is if you plan on driving there yourself, it is quite a steep road, it is quite twisty, none more so than what we've already experienced so far. The only difference is we went quite late in the day there, and there was quite a bit of congestion on the road, and it kind of means that you have to stop on quite a steep section. Got there in the end, it's definitely worthwhile. I'm actually quite glad that we went on this coastal road because it feels very different to the rest of the island. Over here it's much less inhabited, which makes for a nice break from the busy west coast. We made the hike out to Trester Star, which is a tanker that ran aground in 2022, and as you can see, this side of the island is where the lava runs off from Piton de la Fournaise, which is one of the most active volcanoes in the world. A bit further up the coast, you can see the effect of this. This is Notre Dame Des Laves, a church which was famously spared by lava flow from the eruption in 1977. The lava miraculously stopped at the entrance to the church, and is now a symbol of resilience and faith amidst the power of nature. And we then made our way to the accommodation, and I've got to say this was probably the best value place we've ever stayed. It was a shame we only had one night here, to be honest. And that sort of goes for the rest of the places that we've stayed on this island. It's all been really good value for money. For sunset, we headed to Takamaka Waterfall, which is set in a beautiful valley. It was the perfect way to wrap up our time in Reunion. We definitely had the feeling that we only scratched the surface of what there is to do on this island during our 1 week visit. You can certainly spend so much longer here with so many great hikes and viewpoints to explore. But the adventure isn't yet over for this trip, and in the next video we'll be making the journey to the island of Mauritius. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one.